Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Smart Talk. My name is Dante Azarmi, your host today, and I'm here with our chief economist at Jivai IQI, Shan Saeed. How are you doing, Shan?
Thank you, Dante. Thanks for having me today.
It's good to have you here as always, and I want to tell our viewers a little bit more about the show. So at Smart Talk, what we do is we use the latest data and we use critical reasoning to bring you the latest global and local economic outlooks to answer your questions about the current state of the world economy and the path forward. So if you do have any questions and topics, be sure to put them in the comment section and your question or topic might be in our next show. Speaking of topics, today we're going to cover zero interest rate policies. We're going to talk about the current state of Europe's economy and compare it with ASEAN. And at the same time, we're going to talk about one of the hottest assets and commodities, gold. So if you're ready, let's start the show. Welcome back. So Shan, talking about zero interest rate policies, I've been reading up on The Economist a few days ago and just today as well. I wanted to ask you, what is zero interest rate policy and are you a fan of zero interest rate policy?
Not really, Raza. Okay. When you have zero interest rate policy, actually the signal that you're sending to the market is that the economy is not picking up. Economy doesn't have the strength to go into the growth mode. Yes. So if you see in the advanced economy, especially in US, Japan and Europe, they have almost zero interest rate policy. But what the interest rate policy has done to them, it has brought negative signals to the market. It's not bringing any growth. What QE and zero interest rate policy they have done, they have borrowed future growth. And that growth is not permanent, that is not sustainable. So I'm not a big fan of zero interest rate policy. What it does is it creates distortion in the market. It creates distortion in asset classes. Most importantly, it creates mismatch in assets and liabilities. So whenever you have mismatch between asset and liabilities, you have, inflation, asset price inflation. And that asset price inflation goes and becomes a bubble. So once it becomes a bubble, everything comes down and investors suffer. So at the end of the day, zero interest rate policy, yes, short term is good for the economy, long run it does not.
It does not. So you heard it, long term, not such a good thing. And also, what does it mean? How does it impact the people, Shan?
I mean, it's very easy for investors to take loan, especially for mortgage, and go to the market and raise funds for corporates, But once the interest rates go up, then the investors and the corporates, they suffer because previously they borrowed at a very cheap rate, but now since the interest rate it goes up, they have to borrow more. So it really doesn't help. So interest rate, in my opinion, it has to be determined by market forces. Market forces are the best judge to make the correct decision about interest rate.
Exactly, that's very true. So market forces, keep that in mind. So Shan, I also wanted to talk about Europe. So at the moment, Europe is going through a very turbulent time. So why is that? Why isn't it able to progress like how ASEAN is?
I think, in my opinion, the biggest problem for Europe right now is, they have aging population. They don't have productivity. Why ASEAN countries like, these 10 countries with a population of 620 million, 3 trillions of GDP growth, they have young population. So young population people, they like to spend more, they save more. In Europe, the challenge is the young population, the average unemployment rate in Europe is between 10 to 30%. So imagine out of every 100 people, 30 people are unemployed. And the biggest challenge for Europe is the productivity. In some countries, there is a huge division. You look at Northern Europe, Germany and Holland, the productivity levels are very high. You come to the Southern Europe, Greece, Italy, the productivity levels are questionable.
That's true.
So there's a huge schism between the Northern Europe and the Southern Europe. You come on the Eastern Europe, people are very poor. You look at Hungary, Bulgaria, Romania. Historically speaking, Eastern Europe has always been very, very poor. So there's a great divide in Europe. And in my opinion, Europe's economy will become 1/3 of the global economy in the next 3 to 5 years.
That's correct.
And if you pick up the latest issue, not the latest issue, I was reading the December's issue of Politico. It talks about Europe will have quite a challenging time, not in 2020, but also going forward in 2021 and 22. So I think Europe will continue to struggle. And after Brexit, yes, the challenges will continue to go up for European leaders.
That's true. And Sean, how can we compare this in economic terms with ASEAN? How can Europe progress like how ASEAN ASEAN is at the moment?
I think there's different dynamics. Europe's economy has got a different dynamics. ASEAN different dynamics. The only positive thing that I see in Europe is perhaps little transparency. In ASEAN is coming up, but the advantage ASEAN has got is the young population.
Correct.
Out of 630 million, I think roughly 40% of the population is young. You go to Vietnam, you go to Thailand, Malaysia, Philippines, the population, they're getting more and more income. People are getting to the job market. The income levels are rising. They are purchasing houses. They're buying cars. So energy consumption is going up. This is where the growth is. So ASEAN and Asia will drive the global economy for the next 5 to 10 years.
Exactly, and I've heard Vietnam is doing so well with the youth,
Vietnam is booming.
Rising.
Yes,
exactly.
it's on fire.
That's
Vietnam
true.
is on
Very
fire.
well done. Very well done to Vietnam, and we wish the best for everyone in Europe. Hopefully, the times will come to be better eventually. So, we're also going to talk about our third topic, which is last but not least, and we always talk about this. It's been our topic for a while: gold. And I read that in the last few months, it's surged to 20% higher in price. So what can we deduce from that?
It's very simple, Raza. Sophisticated and smart investors who understand history and economics, they have always taken position in two asset classes. One is real estate and the other is gold. Look at gold. Historically speaking, 1880s, 1990s, people used to trade in gold. UK was on gold standards, and they had to remove herself in 1932 after the budget deficit and trade deficit. But gold is in the third bull run. This is the third bull run. In the first bull run happened in 1971 to 1980, when gold jumped from $35 per ounce to $850 per ounce. Wow. So that was 2,300% increase. The second bull run started in 2001 when gold was trading at $257 per ounce. And in 2011, gold was trading at $1,923 per ounce. 650%. And now this is the third bull run. When gold prices were trading in December 2015, it was trading at $1,089. And now when I talk to you, it's like $1,800 per ounce. So almost like 65% increase. And this year alone, gold has jumped 20%. So I think more and more investors, they're looking at tangible assets.
Exactly.
So you have real estate, gold, and cash. People like Warren Buffett pick up 6 months back, Financial Times, he said, I have got $130 billion just in cash. So why, people asked Warren Buffett, why you're holding so much of cash? He said, I am looking for opportunities. So cash is like an economic empowerment, financial empowerment. You go into the market, you take position in those asset classes which are cheap and which are affordable at the market price. Exactly. So I think valuations are becoming important. Gold, real estate will continue to be on the global investors' radar.
Exactly. So you heard it. Tangible assets, gold, real estate, and cash. Keep your eyes on that. So these are the topics that we covered today, as usual. Thank you so much, Shan. I love to always have you on the show. It's amazing to get your insight on all of the economic parts that we're talking about. And of course, please be sure to put in the topics and questions that you want us to feature in future episodes. And at the same time, if you have any opinions or feedback about the show, be sure to put it in the comment section. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you, Shan, for everything.
Thank you, Dante.
Thank you so much. Have a good day, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.